Coming up on the show, I'll preview the upcoming weekend for SBU sports, and I sit down with senior men's soccer player Garrett Pasono. This is Bona Sports Weekly. Second edition of the show. My name is Zach Warren. Here's a preview of the upcoming events this week. Friday night at McGraw-Jennings Field will feature the first home night game in Bonaventure soccer history. The women's team will host the Binghamton Bearcats. Kickoff is at 7 with field dedication at 6:30. Bonnies are going to have to deal with a streaking Binghamton team who started with the season 0-4 but have won their last 4 games to push their record back to an even 4-4. In their last game, they outshot Canisius 20-5, and senior goalkeeper Gabby Gold combined with freshman Katie Hatsenes to tally their second shutout of the season. The Bonnies are also coming off a win over Virginia Military Institute on Sunday at the Big Red Shootout at Cornell University. They ended up winning 2-0 thanks to goals from Danielle Weiss and Riley Dougherty. It's also worth noting that Weiss has been named the Atlantic 10 Rookie of the Week for the second time this year. She has 3 goals and 10 shots on net this season for St. Bonaventure. Men's soccer lost their first ever game of the Big Four Shield, which features University of Buffalo, Niagara University, Canisius, and St. Bonaventure. They played Niagara, who beat the Bonnies by a score of 1-0 in overtime. Their next game is September 21st at Rider, who is 2-1 this year. Their last game was against Bryant College last week, which Rider won by a score of 3-0. Junior Florent Villa from France picked up 2 assists in that game for Rider. The Bonnies will hope that senior goalkeeper Jeremy Figler can keep up his performance after he stopped 4 out of the 5 shots he faced on Sunday. All 4 shots he faced in regulation he was able to stop. The men's golf team will look to rebound this weekend at the Cornell Invitational after coming in 7th out of 12 last week at the Leo Keenan Invitational, which the Bonnies hosted. The Cornell tournament will take place from Friday, September 20th and carry over to the 21st. Also attending will be A10 rivals Fordham, who haven't really had a stellar season so far. They finished 12th out of 14 in their first tournament of the season and are coming off just a 3rd place out of 5 performance at the Rhodey Invitational, finishing 16 shots behind the leaders, Rhode Island. Corey Long will look to continue playing well for the Bonnies after winning his 2nd straight A10 Rookie of the Week award. Long had the 2nd best score on the team last weekend, finishing with a score of 143, just 2 behind junior Josh Stafer. The women's rugby team has yet to allow a try from opponents this season, recording shutouts in both of their first 2 games. They'll need to keep up that defensive pressure when they face Fredonia this week, who is ranked a division higher than Bonaventure. It's worth noting that in the last game, Bonaventure beat Niagara by a score of 51-0. All right, I'm sitting here with Garrett Pasono, senior defender for the men's soccer team. Garrett, thanks for coming on.
Hey, Zach, thanks for having me, bud.
You're one of 12 seniors on the team this year. That's a ton of upperclassmen. You could potentially field an entire team of just your seniors. Does having that many, experienced guys kind of help the team out at all?
Yeah. I mean, we had about that many guys graduate last year, but with the new guys that we have now in the senior leadership positions, things have been going pretty well. Coach likes what he's been seeing. Not a lot of the guys in my class have had a lot of playing experience. It's been more of the guys that graduated. I know there's a couple guys, along with myself, that have gotten a lot of starts since our freshman year. But it definitely helps with the amount of new guys that we have in here. The senior leadership's been a good start, and it's a good group of guys to have teaching the younger guys.
Yeah, you said it yourself. You're one of the guys who's used to starting a lot. You started every game your freshman year, 15 out of 16. I think you started sophomore year, and then every game last year too. Are you looked to as sort of a leader on this team then, just because of all the experience that you bring to the table?
Yeah, I wasn't named specifically as a captain this year because of the 3 older guys we have that are great leaders. The coach chose to give them the title of captain, but I think ever since freshman year being one of the starters in the back line and up until now, I've been looked at as one of the guys to give advice and be that voice back there that they listen to. So even though I don't have the role of a captain, I'm still looked as an important part of the leadership role on the team.
What kind of leadership qualities do you show on the field? Just give me a couple examples.
I'd say the most important is the communication aspect of it. Just one of the big things our coach talks about is just talking to talk, making sure guys are all in the right spot, just directing from the back because I can see pretty much the entire field from the position that I play. So it's important to just always be in people's ears, making sure they're staying focused and doing what they should be. Again, another one would be leading by example. In practice, it's important to give everything. Sometimes guys, don't want to train on a certain day. You always have to lead by example, and they'll follow.
So there's this new trophy this year. I'm sure maybe you guys have talked about it. It's called the Big Four Shield, and it features St. Bonaventure, the University of Buffalo, Canisius, and Niagara University. Given to the winners of those big rivalry games. Does having this new trophy kind of add pressure to what's already sort of heated rivalry games?
We did joke about it a little bit, but when it came down to it on Sunday, because Niagara had just beaten UB, so they were holding the shield when they came here to play us. It was one of the first things we said before we left the locker room is as much as we've joked about this shield, we kind of want to have it. We want to be that team that Western New York, when they talk about Western New York soccer, they think of St. Bonaventure. And it was a little disappointing to us that we weren't able to get it. We don't know how the schedule works out, if we'll have another shot to get it when we play Canisius or UB down the road later in the season. But that was something that we kind of wanted to have, as silly as it may sound. But I don't know if it added pressure. It gave us a little more to play for, but we definitely do hate losing to those 3 teams.
Right. So it definitely wasn't business as usual when you stepped onto the field the other day. You guys did want that shield.
No, yeah, definitely. It gave us a little something more to play for, even though there already is with those 3 rivals of ours.
Do you think it's a good way to maybe keep the team? Obviously every game counts, every win counts, but these preseason or these pre-conference games, maybe sometimes there's just a little less pressure when you're out there. Do you think it's a good way to keep the team motivated before conference get started?
Yeah, we look to the non-conference. Like you said, it's not as much pressure as the conference because obviously the conference is what matters. But there is a type of pressure when it comes to, okay, I need to start improving on things because as we get closer to conference, the amount of playing time in the bench gets smaller and smaller. So it's looked to be as kind of your audition for the conference time. So these big rivalry games it adds a little more pressure in, I'd say, yeah. It's still, we hate losing, so,
right.
The 0-2 record still pisses us off as much as any other games would, so we're anxious to get back out on Sunday.
So you've had 3 games on that new turf now. Obviously, that's just a huge story coming into this year. Has it made a big difference in the games as far as you can tell?
Definitely. It gives us a chance to play the game we want to play, keep it on the ground, and possess the ball. We've had a significant amount of rain already this year, so I don't even know how many games we actually would have gotten on the old field with just the amount of rain that we've had, especially when we've been practicing. But the turf's great. It's good for us. I know all the other teams are really happy about it. It makes our school look, more like an athletic complex back there, and I'm excited to get a game under the lights. Hopefully, the girls have a chance at it on Friday, which will be an exciting atmosphere.
Have you experienced any sort of problems with the turf so far?
No, so far it's been good. I think it's still kind of laying in a little bit, getting matted down, but it's pristine. You can't complain about
Yeah.
it, especially after getting that instead of the old grass field.
What kind of problems did you have with that grass field? Besides, obviously, the drainage issue, which you already talked about earlier.
Well, it was extremely uneven. We used to joke and say, "Oh, the old Bona bounce." There were a lot of holes and a lot of divots in the grass that caused a lot of problems when we were trying to keep the ball on the ground. It would just bounce up unexpectedly.
Okay. So last year you had a brother, Sean, right?
Mhm.
He was on the team. What was that like? I don't know. Did you guys play in high school at all together?
We did. We were able to play 1 year together in high school. I was a senior, and he got on the team as a sophomore on varsity, and it was a blast. Him and I have always been really close. In high school, he got more minutes than he did here. He ended up redshirting, just because of the amount of seniors and juniors that we had. He couldn't find a way to break into the lineup, but it was always a fun dynamic having him on the team. I always told him, hey, you're my bro, but you're just another teammate. I can't show preferential treatment when it comes to you, but it was always good. It was better for my parents coming to be able to watch us both at the same place and stuff like that.
Now, you guys went to Aquinas Institute together in Rochester, and you said you played there a year, but obviously being away from home, there's a big difference playing at a high school level to playing at a college level. What was that kind of like, playing with your brother at sort of the higher level?
Well, he wasn't extremely highly recruited coming out of high school, so I was really proud of him to be able to come and take a shot at the Division I level, and he was proving himself to do well. I know the coaches said that they felt comfortable if they had to put him on the field, but they just didn't want to sporadically play him. They wanted to give him a chance to play a whole season, so they decided to redshirt him. But it was obviously a different dynamic than playing in high school. It's not as serious, but he put in the work, the extra work needed to be a Division I player, and I'm upset that he decided to move on, but I know he's doing well. He's at Medaille in Buffalo. I know he's doing well with that team, and he's gonna enjoy his 4 years there.
That's awesome. Best of luck to him. So you're a senior JMC major. We talked about that a little bit earlier. And one thing that I know non-athletes can never really relate to is juggling sports and school. And obviously there's a ton of work to be had as a journalism major. You got to get those 400 internship hours. You got to get a capstone done, senior projects. Well, how have you been with juggling school and sports?
I feel like I've done a pretty good job with it. When it comes down pretty much to the end, it's a good thing to say to employers that are interviewing you when you're comparing resumes with, say, another prospective interviewer, saying, well, I had practice and games this many hours of the week, and I have the same GPA as your other prospective hire. What were they doing during those hours? So it really gives you, I wouldn't say really gives you, but gives you a little bit of the upper hand. You really have to manage your time well. And we have a lot of sources here that help us out. Heather McDivitt, Megan Van Tatenhove, they're academic advisors for the athletes, and they really do a good job of helping us out. We have study table hours that we have to abide by until you get a certain GPA. But it really is time management. We have 2 practice hours a day. We lift twice a week in season, and then you're supposed to get some work done on your own. So that's 4 or 5 hours a day, and then you have the rest of the day to balance out when you're going to eat, sleep, and do your work and go to class. So there's a lot of stuff to be done, but if you got a good head on your shoulders and use your resources that you have, you can definitely get it done.
So next semester, obviously the season will be over by then, and you'll have a lot more time to worry about sort of these last-minute senior things that you got to get done academically. Are you looking forward to that?
I'm definitely not looking forward to seeing my soccer career come to an end. But
obviously a little bittersweet there.
Yeah, it'll give me some more time to focus on academics, really getting my important things done, my capstone, and finalizing those internship hours that you talked about. But I'm looking forward to coming back my 5th year, finishing the IMC program that I'm starting this semester, and it'll really give me a different perspective on the college and school atmosphere, being out for a year and a half of soccer. So it'll be different. I'll have a little more time on my hands, but it'll be something that I have to change up and manage better than I do now.
So your next game is at Ryder on Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
You mentioned earlier the 0-2 start, but some good things.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, in the last couple games, Niagara, you outshot. I think it was 6 shots on goal to 5. So what are you guys looking to improve on this weekend as you head into Ryder?
Well, it's our first game on the road. That's always important. We talked about this morning at practice, seeing how we can bounce back, how quickly we can bounce back. We showed a lot of good stuff at Delaware. Yesterday's game, or Sunday's game, was a little sloppy, but we showed, again, some good stuff. But we want to see how we take it on the road now. We have to take a couple of these single game road trips when it comes to conference play, so it's a good gauge of how we travel and how we play and stuff like that. But we need to really create some more scoring chances, I think. We've been working on that past couple days at practice, just attacking stuff, trying to get some goals, because we still haven't scored yet in the first 2 games. We haven't put one in the back of the net. So we're working on, obviously, keeping the ball out of our net, but we need to create some more attacking chances. So that's what we're looking to do.
As a defender, you're not really looked on to score as much, obviously, as some of the guys up front. But you are coming off a season that you had 3 goals, which is your career high here at Bonaventure. What are some of your personal goals? Is taking a couple more shots maybe one of your goals?
Well, a lot of my goals, I've had 4 goals since I've been here. I've only scored 1 through the run of play. The other 3 have come off of corner kicks and set pieces. So that's usually where I find myself getting my goals, is on corners, and we got some good size this year on set pieces and stuff like that. So we're looking to capitalize on those. But scoring goals is always great.
Right.
I'm not going to say that that's like a goal. I have a set number of goals that I want to score. Just in the right place at the right time kind of thing. I'd say the most important goal for me this year is to get to an A10 tournament. I haven't had the chance to get to one since I've been here, and the year before I got here was the last time they made it to the A10 tournament. So I'd like to leave and have a chance to say, I got there, but where can we go when we get there? You know what I mean? That's what we've talked about before. When we get there, anything can happen. Make some noise when we get there.
With so many seniors on the team, do you think maybe this is the year where you're going to push towards that A10?
Oh, absolutely. Last year we talked about this was the year, but it ended up falling a little short down the stretch. And with the new guys coming in, I really like, the team dynamic. I like the guys that we brought in. They all work hard. They fill the spots that we needed to get filled. And we're definitely looking at this season as one of the ones where we might be looked at as the underdog kind of thing. In the preseason rankings, we got picked last to finish in the A10, but we use that as kind of a motivator, light a fire a little bit, and maybe teams look down upon us when we come in, and hopefully we can get to the A10 tournament. And like I said, anything can happen when you get there.
All right, this is Garrett Pasono of the men's soccer team here at Bonaventure. Garrett, thanks so much for coming on. Feel free to come on if you want to again.
Thanks, buddy. It was a pleasure. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, of course.
That's it for this show. Another thank you to my guest, Garrett Pasono. Tune in next Friday for another edition of Bona Sports Weekly. Have a fantastic week.